ever wondered why some players lead naturally, some stay calm under pressure, and others lose focus the moment they're told what to do? That's not random, it is your personality type. And if you understand it, you can completely change the way you train, how you play, and even how coaches see you. In this video, I'm going to break down the 4 main personality types using the DISC system, help you figure out which one you are, and also show you how it affects your football and development. Now, I actually learned this from my mate, Ryan Tuckwood. He is one of the best in the world at teaching communication and essentially human behavior. He uses DISC to help businesses understand people, how they lead, sell, and make decisions. But when he showed me it, I realized that it is perfectly applicable to football with some minor tweaks. Because think about it, how you handle pressure, how you respond to feedback, and how you train, it's really all comes down to your personality. Before I get to the framework, if you're a parent watching this and you have your own business, or even if you just work in corporate or something, or you just want to get one up on your competitors or in your scaling life in general, DISC is super essential. I think you should learn human psychology. You should understand the different personality types of people around you, because I think it's going to really give you a leg up on how to communicate better as a person. So here's the framework for footballers, right? I want you guys to picture a graph just like this, with 4 different quadrants. On the top, we've got D, then we've got I, then we've got S, and then we've got C. Now, D stands for dominant. These are your dominant players. So players in this quadrant, these are the players that are competitive, assertive, the players that want control, right? Very big characters. On the other side of them, we have I. I stands for influential. So your I players, these are your very happy, creative players, right? Energetic, social, thrives on connection. Everyone having a good time. They want to have a good time. They've got a lot of flair. S actually stands for steady. Now, these players are my favorite type of players. These are the ones that are consistent, calm, and team orientated, right? Like the team comes first. They put the team before themselves, right? Very little egos. And C stands for conscientious. These players are analytical, detailed, and just disciplined. These are the people that always want things to be perfect. Now, we all have a little bit of each one in us, right? You might have been hearing me mention dominant stuff. You go, yeah, that kind of sounds like me. And then I mentioned some steady stuff and you go, yeah, that's a bit of me as well. We all have a bit of everything, right? So don't stress. But as you may have heard, we don't rise to our standards. We fall to our systems, and we all fall into one of these categories a lot more frequently than the others. And that's what we're here to find out. All right. Now the fun part, to figure out which one you are. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you should really do your best to be honest with yourself and keep track of your answers. Because ultimately, I want you to understand that there is no right answer to any of this. Being dominant has pros and cons. Influential has pros and cons, steady has pros and cons, and conscientious has pros and cons. There isn't one that will sound better than the other, or one will make you better than the other. And really, if you don't listen to your heart and answer these properly, it's actually not going to help you at all, and you're wasting your time watching this video. And furthermore, to add to that is that I also believe it's very seasonal. Before I get to the questions, I want you to know that I think that my systems was different throughout different seasons of my life. I think from the ages of 17 to 21, I was definitely very dominant. I think from 21 to 24, I moved a lot more like an influential person. And I honestly think that today, you know, at 26, I sit right here in conscientious. So I think it differs. I think that's something that maybe isn't mentioned. So I don't want you to think, oh, I'm framed in this box and then that's who I'm going to be. No. I think it'll change as you mature, as you grow, and with new growth comes a new you, right? So we want you to keep changing, but I think ultimately you will have one more than the other, and maybe I always had this and I just wasn't aware of it. Okay, question 1. Your team is losing 2-1. What is your instinct? Is it D, demand the ball, lead, take control? Is it I, bring energy, start talking, encouraging? Is it S, stay calm, keep possession, hold structure? Or is it C, analyze what's wrong and fix details, right? Just keep a mental track of which letter you picked. Question 2, a coach shouts feedback at you in front of everyone. Do you, D, feel challenged? You'll prove them wrong by your actions. I, you brush it off, maybe smile, you stay positive. S, you listen quietly, internalize it, and just keep focused? Or is it C, do you kind of replay it in your head and make sure that you do it perfectly next time? Again, pick the letter that you picked in your mind and feel free to pause this video if you need more time to think. Question 3, in training, what motivates you the most? Is it D, competing? You want to win every small-sided game. I, the social energy. You want vibes, fun, creativity. Is it S, team success, seeing the group get better? Or is it C, mastery? You want to perfect every detail of your game. You're there to improve. All right, whichever letter you picked the most, that is your dominant personality type. And now that you know this, let's break down how it actually shows up in football and how you can start taking advantage of it. Now let's start with D. Now you guys are the leaders, dominant personality type. Famous footballer to attribute to that box would probably be Cristiano Ronaldo. Positions common with a D type, I'd say are probably striker, center back, and just any sort of captain roles in a team. Now, before you skip past, just try find out your one. I'd highly recommend you listen to all the personality types, because whether you're a football player, you're a parent watching this, or just in general for information, you should want to know how to learn from your teammates, how to communicate better with your teammates, your coaches, scouts, your bosses. The psychology of this actually works. And when you figure out who people are, it's only going to benefit you as well as knowing who you are. So D types are born competitors. They love winning, they hate losing, and they want to lead. You can really feel their presence. Even their walk says, I'm here to win. They thrive under pressure, but also tend to get very frustrated when others don't match their energy. You'll usually train best when it's competitive. Score-based drills, fitness races, right? Anything that you can determine a winner from. Now, the con for you people is D types can become too intense. Shouting at teammates, another D type personality player that I know, they would take the penalties, they take the free kicks, the throw-ins, like they want to be everywhere. My tip, if you're a D type, learn to channel your drive through your team, not against them. And leadership isn't about being loud. It's about lifting everyone else up in the process. These guys are usually the ones that end up in leadership positions, but that being said, usually the worst leaders. Very emotional, things can go up and down very quickly with D types. Moving on to I's. Now I's, you guys are the showman, right? The influencers. Famous player, have to be your Ronaldinho type player. Positions, usually wingers, attacking mids, just forwards in general, you'll strive there. I types are charisma in boots. They play with joy, they're expressive, they love a crowd. Any sort of attention, that is where you're going to excel. Usually in training, you're probably going to perform best when it's social, right? Your rondos, creative sort of drills, anything with energy and movement. The downside, they can lose discipline. When it's not fun, you usually just switch off. If you're an I type, I would probably recommend learn structure. Your creativity is a weapon, but without discipline, you'll fade fast and most coaches will not actually like you, especially in Australia. Set small goals in training, especially if it's a boring session, right? If you're not engaged, you don't like the session, it could be something very simple. Something like complete 10 first perfect touches or something in this session. Something like that will keep you sort of anchored to this session and make you actually focus on getting better, not just having fun. Now, S, my S's, my favorite boys. You guys are the glue. Famous footballer example, N'Golo Kante. Positions are usually defensive mid, fullbacks, center backs, roles where calmness matters. S types are the heartbeat of any team. Reliable, consistent, and unselfish. They're calm when others panic, and coaches tend to love them because they can trust them. I have a couple of S's in my company, and they are the most reliable performers. But it's hard to get these guys to really excel on the level of a Kante. Most of the time, they tend to just be like a Jordan Henderson type of player. You may not notice them, but the team isn't as smooth without them. So you guys actually train best in environments with stability. Clear plans from the coach and also consistent feedback is your friend. Your weakness is that you probably go unnoticed in the team. Because you don't chase the spotlight, you tend to get overlooked at trials and events and even football teams. So if you're an S-type player, a bit of advice I would give you is push your voice, communicate more. I'm not telling you to become someone else. You don't need to be loud, but show your value clearly, right? You're the glue and everyone should be able to see it. So let people see it. Now, C, last but not least, the thinkers. Famous football player would probably be like a Tony Cruz or a Virgil van Dijk, right? Positions, deep lying playmakers, goalkeepers, really any tactically focused role I think would suit the C's. Now, C types, you guys are the perfectionists. And I say you guys and also me because that's where I've put myself as well. We see the game like a chessboard, right? Every movement tends to be calculated. We're disciplined, reliable, and obsessed with getting the right outcome. So we want to do things right, and we also train best with structure and repetition. We actually enjoy training, as boring as it gets, because we like strategy, we like, film reviewing ourselves, but most of the time we can overthink, and that tends to mean that we freeze, usually at the worst times. My bit of advice, if you're a C player, is to remember football isn't perfect, just like life. Sometimes you just need to play. Give yourself permission to take risks, because ultimately progress will beat perfection every single time. If you start taking more risks, I guarantee you will start progressing a lot faster than all the other personality types. That is my unbiased opinion, obviously. But when I said that there really isn't, taking risks will take you from being an average player to a Tony Cruz, right? Now, to summarize, when I say it, and I meant to, that there wasn't any one better type than the other, no team can be made up of just one type. A team full of Ds would explode. Think Liverpool's issue with Salah and Mane a few years ago, or the super team AC Milan had back in the day. Doesn't really mesh all that great. A team full of Cs would overthink too much. They'd be great at holding possession. They'd probably never lose the ball. But if all you do is pass the ball to the sides and back all game, you're probably not going to be getting many points. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is you need balance, right? The best players and the best teams are the ones who understand themselves, but also the people around them, because you know how to adapt to others. And ultimately, you just have a good mix of personalities. That's emotional intelligence. That is what top football academies are actually looking for with players. If you have a good coach, he should be aware of the different personality types and how to manage every individual, right? In order to get the best out of people. My dad, for example, wasn't the best coach. Admittedly, he was a pretty bad coach when it came to training drills and structure and that sort of stuff. But if there's something he excelled at, is playing the man and getting the best outcome out of every individual player, because he had a different relationship with every single player on the team, and he always did with all his teams. And so because everyone loved him, because they had a connection with him, they all just went to war with him come match day. Unfortunately for you watching this video, most coaches, most agents, most teachers, most bosses are very average and only speak one language, right? The language of their own quadrant. And if we're splitting it evenly, that's only 25%, right? They are really only getting results to 25% of people. So what I would do is I would recommend you to take the initiative with your relationships. Figure out a way to start building a relationship with your coach and, subtly explain your personality type. Tell them what you like, what you don't like. So, they're aware of what works for you. But most importantly, I would say use this knowledge to actually understand him and your teammates so you know how to communicate that properly to him. Start listening to what people are saying, start listening to the tone of how people say things, and start looking at people's actions, and in no time your team chemistry will start to flourish. And in doing so, your own performance will as well. So which one are you, D, I, S, or C? Drop your type in the comments and let me know if it matches actually your style of play. And if you want more videos like this, maybe even for me to delve deeper on each one, let me know. And you should probably share this with your teammates so you can all start benefiting and it's less work for you.